Two police officers who were involved in the death of 37-year-old Kelly Thomas are on trial this week. Former Fullerton officer Manuel Ramos has been charged with second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter. Former Police Corporal Jay Kitchinelli has been charged with involuntary manslaughter and the use of excessive force. A third officer, Joseph Wolf, will face trial in late January. Now, this is the first time in the history of Orange County where police officers are on trial for their actions while on duty. The charges stem from this surveillance video showing the police officers beating Kelly Thomas with their fists and the butts of their guns, as well as tasing him no fewer than 4 times. Thomas eventually died from mechanical compression of the thorax, which made it impossible for him to breathe. For more on the trial, RT's Ramon Galindo joins me now. Ramon, thank you so much for joining me. Now, walk us through the moments that led up to Kelly Thomas's death.
Absolutely. Well, as we speak right now, defense attorneys are presenting their opening statements in an Orange County courtroom in the trial of Officer Cicinelli and Manuel Ramos in the killing of Kelly Thomas. Now, this is a murder trial 2 years in the making. This all started back on July 5th of 2011 when officers got a 911 call about somebody trying to break into cars in the downtown Fullerton area. An investigation later found out that Kelly Thomas wasn't trying to break into any cars and was not in possession of any sort of stolen goods. When Officer Ramos and Cicinelli confronted Kelly Thomas, they were questioning him, and according to the district attorney there in Orange County, Thomas was having a difficulty understanding the commands that police were giving them. After about 15 minutes of back and forth with Ramos, the notorious video then shows Ramos putting his fists up to Kelly Thomas's face and threatening to punch him with his fists. After that, District Attorney Tony Rackauckus says that what should have been just a routine police stop ended up with Kelly Thomas on the ground, bleeding, unconscious, and dying.
And Ramon, we're looking at the video right now, that surveillance video, and it's black and white. It's a little bit hard to see what's going on with all those police officers kind of crowded around Kelly Thomas. How instrumental is this surveillance video in that case?
Well, this is really the center of the case, and as I mentioned earlier, District Attorney Tony Rackauckus said that if it weren't for this tape and the audio recordings, police were equipped with with audio recorders on their bodies. If it weren't for these tapes, he probably could not have prosecuted this case. And really, the dissemination of these videos online and the efforts of Kelly Thomas's father, Ron Thomas, really resonated and got a lot of attention on this case. The final words of Kelly Thomas before he went unconscious were "Dad, Dad, Dad." Those words really ingrained in Kelly Thomas's father's brain. He talked to me last year, right after the announcement that a civil rights lawsuit was being filed against the city of Fullerton. Let's hear from him.
You're not taught this type of thing. Even when I teach arrest and control techniques, you don't teach this, you know. This is just brutal murder. That's all there is to it. I think everybody needs to be concerned if a cop can go off like that and murder somebody.
Right, and Ron Thomas is himself a former Orange County deputy. He was actually hoping for more severe charges against these officers. However, before the trial started, he said he is very confident that justice will be served.
And Ramon, the defense attorneys for the officers say that Thomas was a schizophrenic, that he had multiple run-ins with the law. He has a prior conviction for assaulting his grandfather, was a fireplace poker. His own mother sought a restraining order against him after he held her by the throat during an argument. He's a known meth user, and he was allegedly attempting to take the guns off the officers that night. So how will Kelly Thomas's past play into this trial and how it affected him that night?
Right, we're going to definitely hear a lot about that during the trial from defense attorneys, and prosecutors are well aware of this. They say that it is routine for defense attorneys to distract from the actions that their clients did and then try to put the victim on trial. The defense attorneys say that the image of Kelly Thomas being a frail, mentally ill man is furthest from the actual case. But we also have to remember that the autopsy following Kelly Thomas's death found that he actually had no drugs in his system at the time of the beating.
RT correspondent Ramon Galindo, thank you so much for bringing us that story, and I'm sure you'll be staying on top of this trial as it continues to develop.
You bet.